think it's really important for children's services to prioritise extrafamilial harm as part of the reform conversation, because at the moment it straddles community safety and criminal justice pathways and safeguarding pathways. And that means there's always a risk that children will be criminalised before they're protected, or lack efficient and effective safeguarding response. The type of response that we need for extrafamilial harm is not the same as the response we need for harm within families. So it needs very particular thought, particularly in regards to trends and patterns based on locations, groups of children, and the ways in which they may come to the attention of service, which may be through them committing offences, for example, or getting into conflict with the law, rather than them being seen as vulnerable by schools, policing or other services. So the Prioritising Protection report showed us that serious youth violence is inconsistently recognised as a safeguarding issue, even when other forms of extrafamilial harm, particularly child exploitation, is recognised as a safeguarding issue. Just under half of the areas that responded to our surveys included serious youth violence in their multi-agency child exploitation panels, and we saw similar patterns within strategic documents being produced in local areas. And we see the same at national government level. This isn't necessarily solely about local practice, because in government policy, we have very clear safeguarding guidelines, specific guidelines for child sexual exploitation. We don't have the same thing for serious youth violence. Most of that is pushed through the Home Office rather than the Department for Education. So these separations that we see at national policy level are being played out in local levels as well. And that means that children who are at risk of significant harm due to serious youth violence will not be necessarily receiving a safeguarding response, even though the definition of significant harm doesn't require the harm to be coming from a family or to be a form of child sexual exploitation for it to count.